Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm very grateful that you guys have been sticking with me, and today we're going to be talking about chapter 3 part 2. If you guys haven't been able to check the last episode, we were talking about the villain within, and we were talking about the first aspect or the first component of your inner villain, which was bad news. If you guys weren't able to catch up on that episode, I'm definitely going to leave a link down below, and you guys can definitely check on it and let me know how you guys feel about it in the comment section. So today we're going to be talking about the second component of your inner villain, which is going to be titled as work on your strengths, not your weaknesses, right? And the reason why this is the second aspect of the component, because your inner villain always thrives when you're focusing your time on things that you're not good at, right? It's always like when you're wasting time doing other stuff that doesn't really propel your life forward, your inner villain is always thriving on that because you're wasting your time, right? We have always taught, and this is a misconception that has always come, and we've always been taught since we were very young, that us working on our strengths and improving our skill sets has always been the correct thing to do. Well, according to this book and the author, he says that is one of the biggest misconceptions that we've ever been taught. And it's a load of BS, right? And this might be a new concept for a lot of people, especially me, because I also know when I was reading this book and thinking about my life, I always see moments where that has been the main thing that I was taught to do, right? And then this one, as it continues, and you ask yourselves, why do you think this is a misconception? He states a few reasons. One of those reasons is that all it does is basically it's robbing your confidence, because most of the time you're working on things that you're bad at. So you end up feeling that you're not as confident because you're always focusing your time on things that you're not good at. The second reason he gives us is also that it makes you feel inferior subconsciously, because you're always finding people or your peers that are much better at it than you, even though you're putting in effort into it, right? The third reason, he says, it also encourages you to ignore your capabilities and your strengths because you're always focusing on your weaknesses, right? And he gives you an example, a personal example of him, where that when he got into the realm of writing books, he was never a person that was good at writing. And in his books, as you read it, you find it's more of a conversation than him actually writing and like passing in knowledge, as he gives a lot of stories as you read the books, right? And he goes on giving a piece of his story about how he wrote his first book, which was called Totally Fulfilled, and how he mentioned that as he was writing his book, he went to go find one of the best editors to edit his book, because, or like his 200 pages, because he was like, oh, I'm not good at English. I need someone to kind of fix the grammar so that it can become more like presentable. As he went to go to find the best editor among like in the industry for that's known for editing books, he was super excited and he was looking forward to seeing what she was going to say about his book. After he flew to her and had a meeting with her and gave her the pages. As he was waiting, she ended up finishing the editing and called him back and basically told him that, hey, this book or these 200 pages that you've given me doesn't need to be edited, because it needs to be rewritten, because it's just a conversation. It's not even like a book, basically. And as he mentioned in this chapter, that made him feel very discouraged, because it made him go back to the past when a lot of his teachers were telling him that he needs to work on his grammar, he needs to work on his weaknesses, and just focus on that. And it always brought him back bad memories of him discouraging and suffering when he didn't know how to do his grammar. So in that moment, he spent 48 hours basically being in a bad place and thinking bad thoughts. But luckily for him, he was able to come out of it and basically give himself some positive basically giving himself some positive thoughts and telling him like, hey man, you're a good person, you know what you're doing. And he said that rather than me focusing on this small aspect of my book, I need to focus on the message and the strong message that I have and how it could help and benefit people. So he then basically called back the editor and told her that he didn't need her services anymore and she was fired, right? And he went to go to another editor and basically told her or him that she just needs you to basically just edit it and not to remove his personality in the conversation. He basically believed in his strength and his message. And when he did publish his first book, he ended up basically becoming a New York bestseller. And the thing that got him through that was him not lamenting on the weaknesses, but focusing on the message, which was his strength, and believing in what he had. So in this aspect, how this helps us and this is a question that he gives us, he asks us to think about what opportunities have you passed up through years because what you question yourself based on solely on the flaws you think you have and others told you that you have. So basically, what are the opportunities that you have missed throughout your life because someone told you like, hey, you're going to be bad at this, or you're like, man, I'm really bad at these things, so let me not do this at all right? And he asks you to really think about this, the missed opportunities that you have just because of you focusing on weaknesses. And then he says that working on your strengths will help you overcome anything you consider a weakness, right? And as we go on into the book, he ends up coming into something where he says everyone is good at something, right? No one is just bad at everything. They're always going to be something that they're good at or they find easier than anything else, right? And in this version of the chapter, he basically says that when you become great at one thing, your confidence goes through the roof, and that confidence basically seeps into multiple aspects of your life. A good example of this is basically like if you become good at one subject or you become very good at one skill set, you becoming very good at that gives you a sense of confidence that you have, and then you use that skill set to help you in those other areas in your life, right? And just focusing on that helps you propel forward in life rather than focusing on the negative things. He says also, when you are told to work on your weaknesses, so many times when you're growing up, you risk the chance of crippling your success. Reasons why, and this is pretty much like common sense, is like if you're spending a lot of your time focusing on something that you're bad at, it also limits you focusing on strengthening your strengths. So that basically cripples what you're good at because you're always spending time on figuring out how to get better at something that you're already bad at. And then he mentions that your success depends on you making a habit out of improving what you're already good at and making it into the point of greatness. Basically saying that you're already good at something. Why don't you focus on that because you're already good at it and then make it something that you're great at better than anyone else, right? And that's a key to success because it's just a better shortcut rather than focusing on something that you're terrible at and trying to become good at that or average. He then mentions that if you focus your energy on things that you're good at and become great at them, you eventually can pay someone else to do something that you're good at. And this is a key success strategy to basically improve all aspects of your life, right? And then he also continues mentioning that how becoming exceptionally good at key things or key skills is far more valuable than you just studying for years on years to become average at things that you're already difficult at, right? So it's better to explain this like if you're terrible at math, but you're excellent in English, why focus a majority of your time struggling on something that you're not good at, you don't understand as easily as you do when it comes to English, And then now you're focusing majority of your effort to improve something that you're already bad at and to become decently average at it, rather than you strengthening yourself in English, which is you're already good at and it's easy for you to understand, and then just become super excellent in that, and then use that to basically supplement your weakness for math, right? And he says this is a better way to become successful in life, because if you're always good at one specific thing, or you're excellent in one specific thing, you can always pay someone to cover up your weaknesses. So now he also asks us in this portion to basically ask yourself these few questions, which is, what weakness are you holding back, or what weaknesses are holding you back, right? Basically, what are some of the things that you feel is a weakness that you have that's been holding you back from doing something that you wanted to try out, or like something that you think you would be really good at? The second question is, what have people told you that you need to work on, right? What are some of the things that people are like, hey man, you're really bad at this, you should probably work at this, like a teacher or a mentor or someone in your life, your parents, friends, anyone, right? And what are some of the false beliefs that you've had because of your so-called weaknesses, right? These are some of the things you really need to think about and write them down, so you can understand, okay, like these are the things that have been really failing me, because these are the strong points of your inner villain, right? And you need to basically identify them, so you understand that during life, when these things pop up, you understand, oh no, this is my inner villain trying to play games with me, right? And in this portion, basically, there's also a very good task that he asks you to do. And today's task or action step is to basically write a list of the things that you're good at, right? And he also gives us a resource in the book, which is basically where you can find a form that can help you answer and figure out what you're good at, by you just going to www.thebetterlife.com, and you go under the resource tab, and you should be able to find the form. I'm definitely gonna put this on the description down below, so definitely check it out, and please do this action step, because this is to the betterment of your life, right? And then he also mentions that towards the end is like, for you to reach the next level of success in your life, you basically need to answer these questions, right? You need to do the task or the action step, which is to write down what you are good at, and then also to make a habit out of doing things that you're good at and make them great, so that you can make that into a success habit, right? And this is a very key pointer in this whole chapter. If you didn't take anything out of this whole video, just remember that piece is to make a habit out of the things that you're already good at and make them into being something that you're exceptionally great and better than everyone else. If you can do that, you will move forward without a doubt, right? And then the last and not least is basically to plunge a dagger into your villain, because if you do these action steps, what you're basically doing is plunging a dagger into your villain, because you have removed him, or you've weakened him off of a component that will strengthen your inner villain, right? So you're weakening your villain by doing these action steps, right? And that's basically it for this video. I hope you guys really enjoyed this moment. I know I'm getting better at explaining things, and as I make more videos, I'm definitely going to be doing better and explaining more and making this more entertaining. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please comment down below what you guys enjoyed about this video. What did you guys learn? Or some of the action steps that you guys did, how did it go out for you? And definitely like, subscribe, and comment anything that you guys want me to make a video off of, maybe a book that you've always wanted to read but never had the time to. Definitely let me know down below so that I can schedule it for the next, after we finish this book. So the next video is going to be on chapter 3, and the title of that video is going to be Bad Advice, which I believe is going to be the third component of your innermost villain, right? So the next video that is you're going to probably be seeing it in 1 week from now, or maybe even sooner, is going to be the cost of bad advice. What does it cost you to listen to bad advice? I hope you guys have a good day and stay safe, and you learned something from this video. Have a good one, and I hope you guys stay tuned to my next videos, and I appreciate you. Have a good one and stay safe.